Hi, everybody. Welcome to Life's a Mom. This is our first video for the podcast, and I'm so excited to introduce Alex Telvi, who's a speech pathologist, and
Hi.
she's our first guest of the year.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Firstly, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
How
and
was your
thank you
New
for
Year's?
having me.
Of course. How was your New Year's?
My New Year's was really fun. It was great.
Yeah, you were busy.
I was very busy. Lots of people in from out of town. Everybody wants to come to Florida.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially because, it was cold here, but not like other places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much better.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here.
Me too. Thank you so
So
much.
tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you became a speech pathologist.
Yes, of course. So, let's see. First and foremost, I'm a mother. That is the most important.
Yes.
We all know. So I'm a mother of two. I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. But I do have a private speech therapy practice down here. It's called Telvi Talk. I practice in the South Florida area, Palm Beach County, mostly in Boca and
Okay.
Delray. And how I became a speech therapist, what drew me to this. So way back in the day, in middle school, you have to do community service hours,
Right.
which we all love. But I really loved working with children. And one of the things that I did was I helped them to play baseball. I was actually a softball player when I was younger, believe it or not.
Oh my
Way
gosh.
before this, I was a big athlete, I promise.
Wow. Your physique is
Yeah, thank you. Very obvious, but I can't say I could play today. But I did help children with special needs in playing baseball and other
Wow.
extracurricular activities, which was a lot of fun. I grew a very strong bond with a child who was completely nonverbal at the time. And I was like, wow, it's extremely challenging for him to play a team sport,
Right.
nonetheless, like understand what to do and communicate with these other children and actually like know anything of what to do. He had trouble
Yeah.
communicating. So that grew like a really deep interest for me. And I was like, wow, I want to be a speech therapist because I want to help children
Wow.
communicate because this is like extremely vital. And that's kind of where it started.
Wow, that's amazing. And so
Yeah.
it led you into this, and this has always been your passion since then.
Yeah, it's always been my passion. I knew I wanted to work with kids. I really liked the realm of speech therapy rather than just being a teacher.
Right, right. Yeah.
So,
I was a teacher, so it's very different for
yes.
sure.
And being a teacher that's tough.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Set out.
Yeah.
So you worked closely with families and young children. And so what are some of the most common concerns that parents bring to you in the early years?
So in the early years, I would say the most common concern is my child is not talking yet. And I would say I would get that with like 90% of my patients.
Whoa.
My child is not talking yet. And they're like around 1.5. And I would say that is a pretty valid concern.
It is.
It
Okay.
is, yeah. So but a lot of parents aren't understanding that word approximations are words. So if your child they think is not talking around 12 months, but they're saying baba for water and they're saying ba forgive me, those are approximations. They're starting to communicate. They might not have true clear words, but the parent's concern is valid. They're not talking yet. And that's the biggest concern that I get at a young age.
Wow, I'm actually shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. You worked with Owen, and
Yes.
our concern was certain sounds he couldn't make, like R's.
Right.
And you taught us that, okay, he's still young to pronounce R's.
Totally young. Yeah. He wasn't, how old was he?
He was 2
Yeah,
in a
2.
few months. Yeah, now he's gonna be 3 soon.
Right.
So
Oh my gosh, how time has
definitely,
gone.
but you've definitely helped him a lot. Like, now I feel like he's gotten so much better, and it's been amazing.
The parent coaching helps a lot.
Yes,
Right? 'Cause
yes.
then you're talking nonstop.
Right. And, the tips that you've given me, I still use.
I'm so
It's amazing.
And
Yeah.
use it with your other son as well?
Exactly. That's what's good about it.
Yeah.
So many moms do worry about whether their child is on track, and some people say, don't compare, so it's always good to speak to a specialist. So that's why I'm so happy I spoke to you because I had
Yes.
concerns. So what are some early speech or communication signs that parents should maybe be paying more attention to?
Okay, so of course it depends on the age, but I would say early signs in the first year of life would be eye contact or joint attention. It would be showing an interest to communicate. So even when your baby is 6 to 12 months, they want to reach for items, they want to pass you items, they want to ask you for their bottle. So you see a need and a want and a desire to communicate. These are some early signs that are super, super important. Also, turn taking. even if it's not in talking, but in playing, turn taking is a very, very good telling factor of they want to communicate, they want to play with somebody. It's a social skill that is a very early developing skill. Also, responding to their name or responding to sounds is a key indicator that you want to look for that they're on track and developing their speech and language skills.
And it's so important.
Yeah,
Like, sometimes even with Liam, I'll say his name and he'll look at me,
right.
and he's only 7, 8 months old
And
now.
it's not like he's just saying, yes, I'm Liam, but he's,
You
you
can
know,
tell he understands.
completely. And receptive language is the first piece that really comes in for children. They're understanding a lot by the time they're one, but it's not like they're talking 100 words.
Right, right, but understanding is a big thing too. We don't think
Yes.
about that when it comes to speech, we only think about talking, but we don't think about that.
Receptive language is actually the key factor that parents could think about when they think, is my child delayed or is my child have a more severe problem? If it's a language delay, I really look at receptive language first because then you know it's really a delay. A delay
Wow.
is a child who really understands but has more trouble expressing themselves and using verbal communication.
Have you ever had someone come to you that maybe they were at 2 years old and not verbal and not
Oh,
receptive?
yes, yes, very common.
Really?
Yeah, it's very
But is
common.
it fixable? I mean,
Yes. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say that everything's fixable,
yeah.
but yes. I mean,
So you
every
worked with
with therapy, with the right amount of therapy, with the right however many times per week, minutes per session, the work that you do is can make progress, but sometimes it's slow and steady,
yeah.
and sometimes it's faster. But it all depends. Every child is different. But
No,
yes,
100%.
fixable, workable, 100%.
Yeah. So for the parents, how do you help parents differentiate between a child who is a late talker and one who may need additional support?
Okay. So, late talker, you look at the whole picture for the child. You look at, are they understanding what I'm telling them? Are they making any progress whatsoever? Even if it's pointing and it takes 6 months to teach them to point to something, any progress at all? Or have they kind of plateaued? So, if they're really having trouble making any sort of progress, that's maybe a more severe problem. But a late talker will make progress in some way, shape, or form with communication.
Okay, and
They
you've seen
also will
that.
have better receptive language than expressive.
Wow. So
A child who might have more severe problem has also difficulty with their receptive language,
so
following directions, things
yeah.
like that.
So that's something that parents would obviously have to kind of compare.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Receptive versus expressive language
Yeah.
and progress over time. Yeah.
Right, right. But do you feel like they should still get a speech therapist or they can do it themselves?
So I'm always, and not because I want business,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm always a big supporter of early intervention and therapy. Therapy will never, ever, ever, ever harm a child. It will
Right,
just
right.
foster their development. It will just help support it. So even if you seek help and an evaluation and you want to do therapy and your child is delayed, and within, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, you see they're doing amazing, then you could just say, okay, thank you, and move on.
Right.
It won't harm them. So, yes, I always think continue with therapy. If a parent is concerned and they're uneasy, it's best to seek therapy if they can. And there's many alternatives. You don't have to go private. You could go through insurance.
Right.
Many, many therapists out there,
Yeah.
go through insurance.
And
And
you come to the home, which I liked
yes, yes.
personally.
So I love going to the home because, well, many reasons, but the best thing is that when I work with children so young, they're in their natural environment. They are most comfortable. I bring, a boatload of toys and
Yeah.
activities. I have the giant bag I'm lugging around, sometimes two of them.
Yeah.
And, the kids are so excited for the new toys and activities, but they're so comfortable in their own home. And they're so excited to show you this, that, and the other in their playroom, in their bedroom. And I feel like when you take out the comfort part, when a child's in a new environment and they don't want to sit on your carpet or the chair and they're in their own space, it just makes it all, better for them to make the most progress that they can.
That makes a lot of sense. You know, Alex, it's true because I think about it when I go with Owen to new places, kind of like us. When we go to a new place, we're kind of like timid in
Oh, of
certain ways.
course. I'm
We don't know.
super reserved.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it makes sense that, when you come to their home, they feel more comfortable because Owen also, he'll talk a lot at home. And then when we go out to places, I'm like, Owen, how old are you? And all of a
Yes.
sudden people are like, does he talk?
Just like people are super shy meeting new people when they're
Right.
in a new environment, it's the same thing.
Right.
And if we're that way, you can only imagine how a 2-year-old is going to be.
Right. Yeah. No, so I think that was also very helpful that you would
Yeah.
come here. You would be
Thank you
excited.
for having me.
Yeah. So screens and technology do come up in a lot of parenting conversations. I'm sure you've heard.
Oh, yeah.
So um how do they impact speech and language development in young children?
So, this is a very good question. Many people are against screens, and I'm not at all. I
You're
have to
not?
say, I am not against screens, but
I'm shocked.
this is the key. Okay. Everybody listening, it's how you use the screens. You can't just use a screen and replace it in front of your child and say, all right, bye. I'm going to go do my thing, go on my phone,
Right,
do the
right.
laundry, whatever. If you use screen as a tool to foster language development and you use it as a tool and engage with your child with the screen, it's totally okay. So I like to say to people, because truthfully, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. I rely on technology.
I get
Okay.
that.
And we have to be realistic here.
Yes.
No, if you're a working mom, you need some help. If you're, have more than one child, you need some help. If you're alone and home and you need to prep your food and do the laundry and you have so many things to do as a mom, you have a boatload on your shoulders. But if you put on the TV and there's a movie on or some of those weird shows that these children love to watch,
Yeah.
um, you know, you could have turn taking conversation. You could, wow, look at what they're doing. Should we build that magnetile tower when we go upstairs? What colors are they using? You could expand child's vocabulary. You could talk about how children are turn taking in a game. You could see the food that they're eating in the video. So once my son watched some random video he came across, we were talking about it and he goes, Mom, what are they eating? And I was like, it's dragon fruit. He goes, oh, can we buy that when we go to the grocery store? We went to the grocery store. We picked it out. Now, every time I go, he asks for dragon fruit. He eats
Wow.
a whole dragon fruit in one sitting.
That's
I'm like, oh, there you
amazing.
go. Yeah, but all from a video. Like, it's not like I would randomly
Buy dragon fruit.
buy a dragon fruit with my apples. But if you use it as a tool while you're with your child, and it could help you. Like, I could make my eggs and go cook on the stove while they're watching TV
Right.
and multitask and talk about what's going on. But if a parent is using screen time as a replacement for language, and they're not engaging and your child is sitting there staring at a TV and not talking,
Right.
that's where it gets a little tricky. And I'm not for that. So if
Right.
you use it as a tool and you continue with the conversation, and I could give you all my mom tips,
Yeah.
that I give you at home for your practice for speech therapy. If you use that with the videos paired with it, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I remember you showed us like certain videos that could be helpful for him. I remember or was it a chart? I don't remember, but it was,
I think maybe I gave you both,
yeah.
but I definitely showed you some videos that are helpful.
Yeah.
And, really, there's so much junk out there, on YouTube and duh, videos. There's good videos, there's bad videos, but as long as you supervise and in a way try to interact with
A
your
hundred
child with the
percent.
screen, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
It
No,
really
for
is.
sure.
Yeah.
So as a professional, what note do you believe parents play at home in supporting speech development alongside therapy?
So parents play the most critical role, especially up until your child is at least 5, and they're home most of the time and not in
Right.
school most of the time. Parents know their child best. They're with them the most, and children feel most comfortable with their parents. So parents really are the facilitators of their child's advancement, development, and speech and language growth. So parents should model how their children should talk. If your child screams at you, but they say what they want, you can give them a model back how they should say it. Like, I want cheese. And you're like, oh, if you want cheers, here you go, in a nice way.
Right.
Or expand their sentences. So if they're saying ball, or pointing ball, oh, you want the ball? Here you go. Good job asking. Give them support, give them their satisfaction, but the child's not going to feel like they're being taught by their parent. It's a more naturalistic way of talking to them. Parents, they turn take with children in every single interaction, and also just daily routines and activities that you do. So I feel like I used to tell you this when you are from the moment you grab your child from their bed or their crib up until the moment you brush your teeth with them and put them to bed,
Right.
speech and language can be ingrained in every single thing you do. Turn taking, modeling, giving them choices. Oh, do you want your red toothbrush or your blue toothbrush? And have them, elicit any sort of communication.
Yeah, you did tell me that, and that helped a lot with
A
Owen.
lot. And I know it's a lot to always be
Talk.
talking, but if you're always talking and giving them the opportunity to talk and giving them appropriate models, they're going to be talking more too. And that's the goal.
Yeah, Owen doesn't shut up. I love him, but that helped
Amazing.
me. I'm happy. That's a good thing for
Yes.
a speech pathologist. That's probably music to their
I'm
ears,
so glad.
So,
And when I first started with him, he was just, with the cars, boom, with the cars crashing.
oh my god,
See,
yeah,
look how far you've come
yeah. No,
in
he's
under a
telling.
year.
I mean, there's certain words that he even tells me that I don't even know how he found the. Like he's like, "Mom, look at Superman's cape." Like he's talking to me like an adult, and I speak to him like an adult.
Incredible. And he's not
Even
even 3.
he's not even 3 yet, and he's like full sentences, and he'll tell me,
Yes.
"Owen, I'm feeling sad," and he'll understand past tense and future tense.
Amazing.
Which is amazing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Wow, what a difference." Like, yes, you're right, it could be a lot to talk a lot, but it helps, and
It
it's
really helps.
the results are
Parents
just
are key.
yes,
Key,
they
key.
really are, and I do that with Liam. I speak to my mom will come and she'll be like, "Oh, boo, boo, boo." I'm like, "Mom, can you just speak to"
Yeah.
because they look
Like the first few months of life, but he's like a kid. I mean, he's a toddler now,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible to see. So for parents who feel overwhelmed or unsure about starting speech therapy, because
Yes.
sometimes parents have told me, like, "I'm hesitant to start because I feel like something is wrong with my kid," you know?
It's very scary.
Yeah, so, like, what do you recommend? Like, how can they overcome this overwhelming feeling? Like, it's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, speech therapy only helps. And it's not, okay, it's not a permanent label, right? So, speech
Right.
therapy, if you have an evaluation by a speech therapist and it's not connected to their school and they're like, in the database of a school,
Yeah.
nothing is permanent. It's just giving the parent information and they could do what they want with it. So the first thing I would say to any parent out there is if you have an inclination, if you're worried about your child, you're your child's best advocate and only advocate really, especially when they're young. So it's best to just call someone and get some help, get some advice. You don't have to do anything with the evaluation. You don't have to do anything at all with the conversation you have with the speech therapist, but at least for your own sake, get some information that can either help you in whatever direction you choose to go in. Um, we don't bite speech therapists. We're
Yeah.
very friendly, I promise. And if you don't like your first speech therapist, I even encourage you to go find someone else because
Right.
there's so many different people out there. Like I'm not as strict as others might be, and
Yeah.
others for sure are against screen time. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and everyone has their own opinion. But speech therapy is so fun for children who are young,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I also feel like for a parent who's nervous about their child, who's either not talking or maybe has behavioral frustration issues with not communicating, they may really love a speech therapist and it could give the parent a lot of relief, not
Yeah.
just guidance, but a lot of relief into an insight into what's going on.
And it's also good socially because I remember when Owen wasn't even in school yet, you would come and he would be so excited. I was like,
Yes.
"Wow, he's excited to learn?"
Yes.
Like,
And that's how you knew he was just a little delayed in things. He had no further issue because you saw how eager he was to play and communicate, turn take
yes.
with me, share with me,
Yes.
eye contact, bringing me things. So that facilitation is how you know, okay, this is going to move on and progress.
Yeah. I mean, even his teachers were telling me this year that he has just really grown and, how do you say? He's very like, the way he speaks is, very
Amazing.
yeah, he's
That's props to you.
yeah, no,
It
but
really is.
without your tips, I wouldn't know what to do,
I'm
Like,
glad
we're
you
not
started,
born
but it's you guys. It's on,
yeah,
it's really at home is a
yeah,
major, major help.
but, like, we're not like, when our kids are born, they don't come with a book of, like, how
Oh,
to do things, so,
no.
like, your guidance really helped me kind of do things with my son in order for him to learn better, and now he literally speaks full sentences.
It makes me so happy.
Like, the other day, I picked him up from school, and as we were walking out, he saw one of his friends, she's a girl, and he goes, "What do you have there?" And she goes, "Hi, Owen." He goes, "Hi, I'm going to my mom's car now." And I'm like, "Wow, he's like a grown, like, boy."
Amazing.
It's really crazy, and it makes me so happy. It just, like, warms my heart to see
And
him
it's a
being
relief.
it is.
And I feel like you and your husband, when we first started speech therapy,
He
like,
was more concerned, my husband, because
yes,
he had speech issues as a child. I
yes.
remember him telling you that, and you're
And
like,
now look,
now
I promise. I really
Yeah.
tried to encourage you guys. Like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, like, you'd be like, text Alex right now and ask her if this is normal." Like, "I'm not bothering her right
No,
now." Like
you're never a bother.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
hope you know that.
No,
Like, you
I
can
yeah.
ask me a question 5 years down the
Yeah,
line.
no,
It's
you're
fine.
amazing. Honestly, you are really the best.
Thank you.
So you've worked with children at different developmental stages, as you mentioned, even kids who don't speak at all.
Yes.
So how does speech therapy look different for toddlers versus preschool aged
Okay,
children?
great question. Toddlers, so even from birth, but from 1 to 3, toddler age, very play based. I probably never sit at a table and do speech therapy with a toddler. I don't think I sat at a table once with Owen.
No.
I was always on the floor, at a
Yeah,
table, whatever.
yeah,
So play-based therapy with younger children for sure. It gets them more comfortable with the speech therapist, excited to participate, engaging, and that's how I will get the most out of them. So also speech therapy with a toddler, even if I am targeting certain speech sounds, I'm playing. So if I was targeting bilabial sounds with Owen, P, B, M, W, and certain, sounds that I would tell you with the bubbles playing with the cars, I was just, it was all play based
yeah.
therapy.
He loved it.
Yes, he loved it, and it really you see such a jump in the way that they produce language when you're playing with them. They
Yeah.
don't think it's work or
Right,
therapy.
right.
They're like, "Great, someone's coming to play with me for 30 minutes."
Yeah.
And I might be tired, but the kids are like amped up and like ready to go.
Yeah, he was
They could even go
excited.
longer. For school age children, it's a little bit different. It's a mixture of play based and a little bit of work. So you might see a little bit more structure to it. Not to say that there's not structure in my head about my therapy with toddlers. I have my goals in my head for them,
Uh-huh.
and I have, what I'm working on, but it's much more informal looking of a session. We may play board games with older children. I may do some picture flashcards with them while shooting the basketball hoop or trying to play tic tac toe and picking up a card of words that they're targeting. So it's more structured play versus more informal based play with
Yeah,
younger
and you
children.
know what I loved about you because I've heard, from other parents, they would tell me that some speech therapists, they don't allow the parents to come in, but you were so inviting and you were like, "Nicole, are you seeing what I'm doing?" Like you were
Yeah.
helping me through it and I appreciated that. But is that normal that sometimes
So all therapists definitely do have a different mindset. I'm a big, big supporter of parent,
love that?
involvement. And I also want it because you need to know how to continue this work with your child 24 hours a day versus the only 30 minutes I see them once, twice, or 3 times a week.
Mhm.
So unless a speech therapist is video recording their sessions and giving it to the parent for parent coaching, I'm just a firm believer in educating the parent as well. So you can see exactly how to do it. So you want the child to generalize the skills to other settings, to the
Right,
home, to school, out in the playground.
right.
And if they're only getting the practice that they get in speech therapy with a therapist and not anywhere else, then, that doesn't give them the greatest opportunity to advance versus if you get to teach the parent what they do. I understand a lot of parents, you know, children act different with their parents,
For sure.
very different. So I understand if a speech therapist is like only come in maybe the last few minutes or try to watch but hide and don't be in the field of vision.
Right.
But I definitely think parent involvement in some way, shape, or form and observation is very important.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. That's
Yeah.
why I love that because I kind of picked up on the things
Thank
you
you.
did and I took that with
Yeah.
me and I did that with
And,
Owen.
I didn't want you to sit for the full time because I know you have things you want to get done
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Owen, but it's
Yeah, but I
important
would come
when you
back and
can.
forth. It was nice.
Yeah.
So what are simple, like, everyday things that parents can do at home to encourage language development without feeling that they're doing therapy?
Right. Okay. Well, you are going to be talking a lot.
For
However,
sure.
what are some things? So, for example, modeling what your child can and should say. So, even if you're in the kitchen making breakfast, you could just model what you're doing, and say what you're doing. So, oh, you want eggs for breakfast? Okay, I'm grabbing the eggs from the fridge. I'm going to crack one, crack two. Let's open the garbage and just as if you're telling a story about what is currently happening.
Yeah,
You're inundating them with language in their head and they're going to
right.
pick up what you're saying. Even if they're not looking at you, staring with you, standing
Same
right
here.
next to you, they hear. So if a screen is in front of them, but you're giving them the language and narrating it and modeling what's going on the screen, they will start talking with you about what's going on in the
Yeah,
video. So just facilitating language, receptive language and expressive language by modeling. Also, turn taking and giving choices. So I always give choices. My children are obsessed with yogurt drinks right now. I have no idea why, but they just want 100,000 yogurt drinks,
Whoa.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're full of sugar, but I guess I'll take it over candy.
Yeah.
So, I give them choices of what flavor yogurt drinks they want. They have
Okay.
to say it in a full sentence. My kids are older now, but give them choices of that. I give them choices of the color straw they want. I give them choices of which seat
Wow.
they want to sit in. So it's really in just everyday routines and activities that you're doing. You don't have to do any specific speech task. You don't reading books is amazing, but you don't have to always read a book at every single like moment of your
Right,
day. And
right, right,
reading at
right.
bedtime is fabulous, and a good way to wind down. Also singing and rhyming. When your child is, I would say 3 to 4 years old and older, rhyming is so fun and funny. Like we play rhyming games with my son all the time. Also playing I Spy in the car. How often are we in the car? So playing I Spy is also a good way to facilitate language, growth, vocabulary growth, and just meeting the child at their level. So whatever they're interested in, if they're only interested in cars, you might just be talking about cars and looking at different cars and trucks and
Right.
teaching them vocabulary with that first before hitting other things. Sometimes you want to teach your child all the different fruits and vegetables they're eating, but if they don't care about it, then move on to what they care about, what their interest is first, and then they'll want to talk with you more.
Right. Like us.
Sometimes you just have to do what they want, but think about the goals you have in your mind. So, if you want them to say, what they're eating, then giving them choices and using different like intonation is really fun. Like they think it's silly when you talk silly, and
Mhm.
then they might repeat what you're saying.
Right, right.
And if it's going from not talking to repeating what you're saying in a funny voice, that's much better than nothing at all. So
100%.
just making it fun and playful
Yeah, for
and
sure.
giving them as many opportunities as possible to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah. No, it's important. And I definitely love hearing Owen speak now. Before I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of talking, but I knew that it's for his benefit. And
Yeah.
now he
And you
doesn't.
love talking. Who are you
I
kidding?
do. I do
Yeah.
love
You're
talking.
not quiet.
But sometimes, when I'm home with him, it's like, and I want to break,
Yeah.
but it's good.
And
It's,
take breaks, please. You don't always need to be like talking, but
yeah.
there's like a time and a place to take a break, and then a time where you're like, you're seeing such progress. You're like, wow,
Yes.
gotta keep going.
When you first told me like to speak as I go when I'm cooking, for example, I'm like, he's not going to sit there and listen to me. But I took your advice. And lo and behold, he was like looking and saying, Mommy, can I try? Like he was intrigued by what I was doing. And I was like, this is great.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, there's gonna be eggshells everywhere and
Whatever.
cake batter everywhere. But honestly, it's great.
I'm going to miss these moments.
Yeah.
Ones when he's in
Totally.
college, I'm going to be like, um, one of the moms was telling me she has an older child and she's like, enjoy this now because I'm up waiting for my son to come home from his parties,
It's
like,
true. It's
and
so true.
she's like, "I wish, my son was your son's age." Now, we don't think about it in the moment like that.
No, not at all. And like even bedtime routine, sometimes it can be dragging, it could be stressful. But now I'm like, "Oh, please choose me to put you to bed and not daddy." Like, you know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah,
And these kids,
yeah.
they develop their own opinion and interests. And then they're like, oh, I used to want mommy. And now I'm like, I want daddy. And I'm like,
And it yeah, you
oh,
kinda get in your feelings.
exactly.
So, how do emotions, behavior, and communication intersect, especially in children who struggle to express themselves verbally?
Okay. Great question. So they all do intersect, they all do connect. Children who have trouble communicating do have more behaviors or behavior problems than other children because they want to communicate. They're so frustrated and they don't know how else to get a message across. So you might see more tantrums, you might see more crying or yelling. But if they don't know how to get their message across, that is how they're communicating. So it really helps to meet the child on their level and let them know, listen, bud, I understand this could be really hard. And maybe even take a step back instead of giving them two verbal choices. If you can show them things, this
Mhm,
one or that one, and they might point and use some nonverbal gestures to communicate first. But any sort of way that you can help your child find a way to communicate and feel understood will help them feel better in their own body, self esteem wise, not act out and be behavioral. Children don't want to act bad. They don't want to
right.
be full of rage, but they feel that way because they can't get their message across and communicate.
It's kinda like us too,
A
when we
100%.
can't communicate our feelings, it's frustrating.
Yes.
So
We just
imagine
understand that it's not appropriate to scream and cry on the floor of the mall,
exactly.
but a child will do that if
Yeah.
they can't get what they want.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of get to Owen's eye level and I'm like, "You're feeling so angry right now because mommy said that you cannot have that, right?"
Yeah. Children feel better when you are like, I understand
Like
that you
us.
feel angry.
Yeah.
I understand you want that lollipop and it makes you angry. You can get it, but after you eat your broccoli.
Yes.
I'm like, you can do it.
Yes, yes.
I will say yes, but first this.
Right, but even us, right?
Yeah.
Anybody, when you tell someone your issues or something you're going through and they go, I hear you, like you're valid to feel that way. It's a good feeling opposed to someone saying,
100%.
well, you shouldn't feel that way because, it's irritating. So
Yes.
I love that. So what advice would you give parents who feel discouraged or fearful after receiving feedback about their child's speech or development?
Well, I would say that it's okay to feel that way, first of all,
Yeah,
because you know, you never want to hear bad news about yourself, but you feel way more protective about your
of
children.
course. Of
And
course.
you feel way more guilt, I would say. So, first of all, I would say it's not your fault. Everything you can make progress on and fix. But again, you're your child's own best advocate. So take what you receive and use it and be proactive in whatever you do with it, whether it's just at home help, whether you get a therapist or you do something else. You are the only person there who's going to really help your child.
Right.
So it might feel horrible to receive information, but you can take it and help your child progress. So I would say it's not your fault, but use that information in a helpful way. Don't sit on it, because the earlier you get help, the more you will see your child progress in a faster way. The more you sit on information or don't do anything with it, you might fall into a deeper hole.
Right.
And no one wants that to happen.
No, yeah, it's better to be
Yeah.
progressive and kind of like start
Yeah.
getting
But it's
help.
hard. It's easier said
Yeah,
than done,
yeah,
honestly, but it's very hard. I mean, I am most protective over my children. I get it. As a
same.
mom, I get it completely. But just find someone to hold on to help you through it. And your feelings are valid. It's like really upsetting.
Yeah, and
Let the tears out. It's
yeah,
hard, but
yeah,
it's not forever. It's not whatever whatever information you receive, it's not a permanent label.
right,
Even if you're told your child is on the spectrum and has autism. Extremely, extremely tough news to receive.
right,
But the more therapy and assistance you get them, the tools that you provide your child to grow, they will grow.
exactly.
So the
No,
label doesn't matter. But if your child starts to talk and develops friendships and interactions and loves school, there's nothing better than seeing that in your child.
100%, 100%. So from your experience, how does early intervention impact not just communication, but a child's confidence and emotional well-being?
Early intervention's fantastic. So early intervention, it's so funny because a lot of parents are like, I'm going to get my child therapy, and they're just 1.5 or 2. But if you don't see your child going to the playground and playing with others and they're digging rocks in the corner and not wanting to share toys, then all that you want to see is that your child wants to play with others
Right,
and engage in social communication. So early intervention will not just help them to talk more, but to engage socially in the world more. So you could
right,
bring them out with you, to the grocery store, to the playground, on play dates. It'll also help a child be happier.
right,
Children get frustrated when they can't communicate and speak. So it'll just make their emotional well being and self esteem a lot more positive. Early intervention will also help them to do better when they do go to school.
right,
They won't have
100%,
such struggles when they do start school. Many
right.
children don't start before kindergarten or just have half days or 2 days a week, a little program. So early intervention is also great, to give them exposure to what they
100%.
might expect in
Yeah,
a larger setting.
yeah, and the parents get to witness it too, which is kinda cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Parent teaching. It's
yeah,
everything.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, as someone who works closely with families, what do you wish more moms knew about advocating for their children within schools or therapy systems?
Um, I want parents to know that they should ask as many questions that are on their mind, like not hold back.
Mhm.
So nothing that you might be thinking as a parent is a silly question or dumb to ask. Again, you're your child's own best advocate.
Mhm.
So ask your questions, get all your information. I would also say get everything, if you're dealing with like an IEP meeting at school or something more serious, get everything in writing, documented. But I think with the school systems, having everything in writing and having your data. So speech therapy is really tracked, and if you're addressing certain goals, data is tracked. So parents can ask the therapist for all the information on their children's performance.
Mhm.
After every session, they could get a session write up, how you have like a little. Exactly. So you are entitled to so much information about your child. So make sure you get it.
Yeah, I find that parents do feel fearful to ask questions,
Yeah, they
and
do.
they shouldn't feel that way. It's their child.
Yes, and it therapy, in a school setting, some therapists will give information out and speak to the parents all the time, and some therapists are overwhelmed with over 50 children on a caseload, and it's very hard.
Wow.
But they do write session notes, so parents are entitled to see, that
Yeah.
information at least. And if you ever have any questions, you should always have your speech therapist email them and contact back and forth and ask questions. So I think just even if you're not with your child all day long from 9 to 3, not as much as you were at home, definitely still keep in touch with the people that are working with your child in the schools, teachers, therapists, other speech therapists,
Anybody.
occupational therapists. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's important.
definitely, and moms should not feel fearful to ask
No,
questions.
no.
Yeah,
Everybody working with your child wants to help them, wants
right.
to see them grow and advance. So I would say that you might not get a response right away, and that's
Of
understandable, but
course.
reach out and definitely inquire and be involved. Be as involved as you can.
Love that,
Yeah.
1,000%. So to close, if a mom listening right now and she's feeling worried, unsure, or alone in navigating her child's speech journey, what advice or reassurance would you want to offer her?
Oh, so many things. Okay, what advice would I want to give a parent? My first piece of advice is to find a speech therapist that you love because that will work best for both you and your child. If you're happy with the therapist and you see your child is happy and comfortable with the therapist, that is the best situation you can be in because no one's going to dread it and you will see progress. Everyone's feelings and emotions will be calmer. You will not feel more stressed as a parent versus
Mhm.
someone who you're struggling to go with. And it's not only the time in therapy that matters, but the time out of it, the parent coaching, the communication. We've developed such a strong bond, you and I. So
Yeah,
it's very important to find someone you're comfortable working with. And I would also like to tell parents that progress is not going to happen overnight.
right.
Progress is steady and it could be slow and it could be fast and it ebbs and flows. Sometimes you'll see such progress in 1 month, and sometimes it'll take 3, 6, 9 months maybe for something to come through. But as long as you see steady progress and
Right.
not the total stoppage and plateau, that is positive news. I mean, sometimes children will just take a few months to learn how to turn take during a game or to share toys or to have joint attention and eye contact. And it won't be verbal communication. Sometimes children will be learning how to use an AAC device or signing for more instead of verbally saying more. But those are all stepping stones to verbal communication. They're not going to slow down communication. It's all tools that a therapist is giving your child to communicate and to make them feel better. So parents should just know to be patient, which is very hard,
It is.
very, very hard. But as long as you are patient and you're happy with your therapist, give your child the support they need
Mhm.
and learn what the therapist is teaching you and how they're doing therapy with your child. Practice at home, give them speech opportunities.
Yeah,
Everything will
and
turn out great.
patience is also a big thing because
Yes.
you understand things that someone like me who doesn't know anything about speech understand. And so for us, it's like, this is common sense. Like, why can't he just word it? But like, just like if you put me in front of a computer right now and make a, I don't know, form a certain platform, I'm not going to know what it is.
Yeah. I mean, neither would I.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I'd be like,
but
what?
with for them, it's the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
No,
So
totally. It's hard and it's even harder for them. Like if it's a child who's just learning how to talk, like think about how much we use communication, verbal and nonverbal,
yeah,
receptive and expressive.
yeah,
You're trying to teach them that. So it'll take time, but
yeah,
just be patient. It'll be
yeah.
great. And it'll be okay. Your feelings are valid. You should feel stressed and upset and nervous, but that's because it's your child and you're most protective over your
It means you're a
children.
good parent. For
Exactly.
sure, yeah. Alex, thank you for coming on
Thank you
today,
so much
and
for having me. This was such a
yeah, this
treat.
was great.
Yes.
I love all the advice, and if anyone is stressed or needs help with speech therapy. I'm gonna link all her information in the description
Thank
below,
you.
and Alex is amazing. She's really helped my son dramatically, so
I'm
thank
so happy
you.
to hear that. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you,
I
Alex.
appreciate it.
It's
Thank
great to
you.
yeah.
Yay.